My name is Ian and welcome to Planted, my gardening channel. Now, in this video we're going to be talking about dahlias. They're a wonderful group of plants, and there's a link in the description to a video I shot a few years ago about overwintering dahlias and how to pot them on and how to keep them from year to year. It's a great video, it's worth watching. But in this video we're going to take a step back and look at the plants that you buy in a store. Now, these were given to a friend of mine for her birthday, and I'm going to start them in my greenhouse, and I'm going to show you how to turn this little bag of sawdust and a dahlia tuber into a beautiful potted plant to get it started, to give it a longer growing season. Now, the real benefit of this is that you can plant this out in here mid to late May and it will already be established, which means that it could flower 6 weeks earlier than if you just put this in the ground. So it is really worth doing. Let's go. Bulbs that you buy from a garden centre or a nursery, or in fact mail order, come from a number of dahlia growers, and typically they're packed in a plastic bag and some sort of shavings. This helps to keep them dry. If they get moist, they start to rot, and it also acts as insulation. Now, this particular dahlia has got very, very round tubers. What I'm checking for here is to make sure that the tubers are not squashed or deformed or in any way compromised. And what inevitably happens is that a number of them are in fact snapped. They've got a very weak connection to the tuber crown, and they need to be removed. They won't put out shoots and they will rot if you leave them on the plant. So if they are loose, and you'll see them if you look closely, there'll be a joint that's severed. That nutrient can't go back to the plant to help the plant grow. So by removing them, you remove the chance of that tuber, that small tuber, from rotting. Most nurseries have got a label in the bag, as you can see here. And I would encourage you to do one tuber, pot it on, and then do another one. You don't want to get the labels mixed up. That is not helpful in any way. Now, you'll notice that on this second one, it's a very different shape, and this is horticulture. It's amazing what you can learn if you observe. The first one, they're very bulbous. The second one, they're much more like an elongated tuber. So that's a way that you can tell them apart if you're just going to be growing two. But this one is afflicted the same way as the previous one, in that some of the tubers have snapped. They have severed or cracked, and they don't want to be potted on. Now, there's lots of people who've got different ways for growing tubers. Some people start them and you actually see a little side shoot before they pot them on. If that works for you, you should continue doing it. This is the way I've done it for years, and I've had great success with it. Bear in mind that a tuber is a storage device. It takes in energy from last year. It is a storage device that is overwintered, and then it will emerge next spring when conditions permit. These have been packed and stored in the bags for a long time, and the tubers are very, very dry. So we need to make sure that we get them properly hydrated. Now, this particular tuber did not come with a label. There's a label name on the bag, but there's no label that I can move to my planted pot, which is a little unfortunate. It's nice to have a label so that should you like the plant, you can obviously buy it again, or of course overwinter it. Now, I'm a big fan of my little plastic dish here. Put in 1 inch of water, and I just want to get these started. I want to get them rehydrated, and it doesn't take long to get them to a point where they're no longer desiccated, as in fully dormant, but they're at a point where they can start to grow. Increased moisture, increased temperature is the goal. So what I do is I put them in my little plastic tray, a little bit of liquid feed, which you'll see me add with the sprayer, and I put a little bit of potting medium over them and just leave them for half an hour, and they will readily absorb water, absorb a little bit of food, and we can start potting. Now, sometimes the roots are really odd. You'll have one big tuber going off at an angle, and you need to choose the correct size pot for that tuber. Don't try and cram it into a very, very small pot. Now here I'm busy charging up some growing medium with liquid feed using a sprayer. It's amazing how much moisture is required to take it from being very dry into a moist growing medium that you can put around plants. So these have a chance to absorb a little bit of water. They are now going to get put into the growing mix, and they'll be just fine. They'll go off to the races. Don't plant too deep, don't plant too high. Make sure that you know where the shooting crown is. It's the little top of the tuber that I hold the tuber with, and then make sure you get the correct label in there. And with your pre-moistened potting mix, you can gently let it fall off your hand into the pot, and then you can firm it around the edges. Do not over compress it. A little bit of a tap, a little bit of a firm, and your plant is done. It's hydrated, it's fed, it's in good growing medium, it's got a label, and now all it has to do is grow. So that's our first tuber. When it comes to selecting tubers, you might get them given to you from a friend, and the chances are you probably don't know the name of it. So it's worth putting a label of pink or white or tall or red or whatever it is that, you know, makes sense to you. But do bother to label it. Dahlias will suck you in, and before you know it, you'll have 10 different varieties in 15 different clumps. Very easy to lose track of what plant is what and how high it will go. Here is the second dahlia going in using the same technique. We've got our pre-charged potting mix with water and a little bit of liquid fertilizer added to the water. And we let the growing mix fall into the pot and then gently tap it down. And there we go. There's our two dahlia tubers, store-bought, ready to grow. I do like to add a little bit more water. These pots are now fully charged. They are not dry in any way, and it means that any more water that I add to them can readily be absorbed into the growing mix rather than just running right through. And here we are. We've now put them back in the tray. Now, this is the plant that's been potted about a month ago. It's got lots of nice healthy shoots. And look at these flowers. These are the flowers that you're going to have in your garden in a matter of weeks. Beautiful colors, beautiful shapes. They come in numerous heights and sizes. So if you've never grown dahlia before, this plant is for you. Thank you so much. Bye for now.